All right. Well, the new album is about to come out. It won't always be like this. And they're from Dublin, Ireland. Brilliant talent, too. Let me introduce them. It is Inhaler. How are you guys?
Hey
Oh,
man,
good
Becko, how
man.
are you doing?
Really good.
It must
So,
feel like a long time coming because you've been waiting a while to get this album out.
yeah, about 5 years. Um, it's been a long process, but yeah, now that it's finally coming out, we're all kind of feel like we're born again or something like that. It's
Yeah, it would be.
bizarre.
So pre-COVID and all the lockdowns and shutdowns and stuff, you pretty much had this album ready to go. I know you probably worked on a few things since then, but you've been waiting this entire time to get it out, and of course you got some touring to come as well, which is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bizarrely, in the last year or so, since COVID actually happened, when the first lockdown hit, we really didn't have anything else to do other than to just write songs. And bizarrely, we ended up writing 5 new tunes that actually made it onto the album.
Right.
Lockdown kind of worked in our favor a little bit. So the album kind of turned out, I think, a lot better than we had anticipated previously.
I think if we had come off tour and gone straight into the studio, we would have just been a little bit burnt out. It kind of gave us an opportunity to slow down and rethink things. That being said, though, it was really hard to get inspired because it was just like Groundhog Day over lockdown. It was just the same day on repeat. And in Ireland, you couldn't leave. There was one point where you couldn't leave 2 kilometers away from your house. So that was crazy.
I actually made the mistake of watching Groundhog Day during the first lockdown, and then I was just halfway through thinking, "Wait, this is me." I was like, "This is life."
But the thing is, at your age, as musicians, you get better and better, by the month, and so I'm guessing over the course of the whole year, you would have been tweaking things and changing the songs around a bit, then sending it to each other, and this is all done over Zoom pretty much as well, so that makes it even more difficult, but maybe easier in some ways too.
Yeah,
it was awkward, all right.
It was a difficult one. Definitely a lot of changing being done towards the end. Probably just because there was a lot of time to sit on it and think about it and overthink it and get stressed. But I think we came out with a great record in the end. And the fact that it's like a really joyful, defiant record, I'm so relieved with, because lockdown was pretty depressing, man.
Yeah. The other cool thing is when you listen to a new band, and for you guys, I know it hasn't been an overnight thing, but for us, this is our first sort of experience of checking you guys out. And obviously you go looking for the inevitable comparisons musically with you too, but I can't hear it. I hear sort of Britpop and a bit of Stone Roses or Foals or whatever. I hear all that stuff, which is really, exciting. What were you listening to when you were growing up?
Well, definitely we were listening to a lot more Stone Roses than you two.
Yeah.
And like, I think it was a lot, as Rob says, a lot of Britpop, a lot of like kind of early 2000s American stuff like Strokes and Interpol and that kind of thing. But we do get the comparison the odd time, but it's more just because of people say I sound like my dad, and I just have to say that it's DNA in it.
Exactly.
Well,
I mean, it's inevitable.
It's not something I can get away with.
Do you still live at home with Are you there with the family right now? Is it, or you sort of officially moved out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here. We all live with our parents right now. We can't afford anywhere to live together, especially in Dublin. But before that, I guess if the pandemic hadn't happened, I don't think we would be. We'd probably still be on tour, just coming back, for a couple of days here at the time. But I'm glad that I'm still in Dublin. I think if we'd moved to London before the pandemic, it would have gone a lot differently.
So, who's the asthmatic out of you guys? One of you must be. Yeah, Eli's putting his hand up. I mean, it's a great name. I mean, how did you come up with it? Was there help from someone?
There wasn't help from anyone. What happened was our friends started slagging us because I had asthma. It wasn't that serious, but it was just so I could get out of PE. It was just enough that I could get out of doing PE. And everyone started slagging us, calling us the inhalers. But like it was more out of love, you know. And then it just kind of stuck, and we liked it. And then we won. We did a battle of the bands one time, and we didn't win best band. We didn't win best song. We didn't win best musicians. We won best band name, and that's the moment when we knew that was it.
It was great.
Yeah, I think there comes a point. I think there comes a time where it's just like, oh, we'll settle on anything at this point. We just gotta stop thinking about what we should be called. I think it was more than that.
You know?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just keep going in circles, and it'll keep changing. And you know, we know how hard it is to find a really catchy name. And I'm glad you stuck with it. And you guys were doing covers in high school, you know, for many years before, you know, getting serious. I guess, is that right? What were you playing?
Well, the first time that myself, Eli, and Rob, the first song we played on stage together, the very first song we played to a live audience was "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and since then we've never been able to listen to that song. You know, it was like, I'd love to speak to the people who allowed 14-year-olds to take on the biggest rock song of all time and think that they could get away with it. You know, we completely butchered it, and it was quite embarrassing. But we look back on it with, I look back on it with fondness now. I don't know about the rest of them.
I still haven't listened to it in like 6-7 years. Like I haven't listened to it, but yeah, Nirvana were like our first kind of love, and then, you know, like Motorhead, and I mean we couldn't cover Motorhead. We quickly realized.
Yeah.
But then we found the Stone Roses, and we were like, we can cover that, no problem. And yeah, and that's kind of where we started writing music. I think they kind of inspired us to write songs and kind of thing.
And you got to go on tour with Noel Gallagher at one point. I mean, that's just the dream. I mean, were you pinching yourself, you know, side of stage, seeing Noel?
You know, people say we went on tour. It makes it sound a lot better than it was, because we did 2 shows with him. He was kind enough to have us on 2 shows. Yeah. But we will take it. You know, you can say we went on tour if you want, but I think for us, like we certainly weren't ready for a stage of that size, and I think he was nice enough to kind of give us the experience. And you know, when you say like, oh, we supported Noel, I mean, there was 100 people there watching us. You know, it was like 4 o'clock in the day, and then there was 5 other bands afterwards, and then Noel. And but like we had a great time, and it was bizarre being on a stage that big, and I really respect bands who can perform like that, because it must take a lot of hard work. It's different. We're so used to playing so crammed next to each other and in each other's vicinities, so it's weird kind of having that really far distance between you and the drums or the bass even, you know.
Rob has put it very properly that it was like social distancing before the pandemic.
Yes. Good one for the resume anyway, that gig.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the honesty though, because you know, certainly I read it was like you went on tour and did a whole tour with them, and
yeah, I don't know where that's coming from.
But the whole thing's quite humbling, because I mean, I'm sure you grew up backstage and that was your thing, you know, as a kid, and you know, bringing the other boys into it as well. You would have been side of stage for a lot of great concerts, and now it's a big reset and a big you know, restart to a new audience. In fact, are you sharing many fans with you too? Are you finding them coming over and checking you guys out?
Yeah, definitely. And like in the early days, it felt like was just U2 fans coming to see us, because I guess they're a big band and they have a lot of like really diehard fans who know everything about them and know about us and stuff. And they're all lovely, you know. We don't mind now if U2 fans come to the gig, as long as, you know, they watch the show and they have an opinion on it, you know.
Yeah.
For us, it's like, you know, there's not really that many disadvantages to it. They're all lovely people, and anyone coming into our gig is welcome.
I'll tell you what, you got to be proud, because you guys have put out a great album, and I can't wait to see you guys over here. It'll happen, and we'll make it happen, because I just can't wait to see you play in somewhere like the Enmore Theatre to a, you know, 5,000 crowd over here. But the album's out, and we're just so excited to finally get a hold of it. Inhaler and the new album. It won't always be like this. Very appropriate right now with COVID. Great to meet you guys.
Thank you
You as
very
well,
much.
man.